My name is Brenda. I'm 32 years old. I met my husband at a mixer for lawyers. I'm a lawyer too, but I'm quite accomplished. My annual income is over $300,000. However, if my true identity was revealed, things might not go well. So, at that event, I pretended to be a paralegal. Among the attendees was a local attorney named Charles. Local attorneys have lower incomes and are less popular as marriage prospects. But I didn't mind. I may have been misguided, thinking someone like him was admirable. We headed off and started dating that very day. He proposed 6 months later, and we were married within a year. Thanks to that, I got pregnant right after we married and have been living in a state of bliss. Then one day, my sister took my husband away.
I'm taking this $300,000 a year hotshot hubby. It would be pointless to sue.
It was right after it was discovered that I was pregnant. My sister, Mary, barged into her home and said this with a laugh. "Excuse me?"
I know you're pregnant, but we're in love, you see.
"Is that so?" I calmly looked at my husband. Normally, I'd be furious and would yell at my husband and sister. But at that moment, I just turned on my phone's voice recorder.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to do this. I never intended to betray you.
Mary's face was full of triumph. How many times has she done this to me? Mary has always been free-spirited, taking my boyfriends, getting divorced shortly after marrying, and quitting jobs quickly. She couldn't hold down a job for long. One moment she was working at a cafe, and the next she was at a pet shop. She's the type of person who just goes after whatever she wants to do at the moment. She doesn't put in effort, stick with it, or make any real commitment. She always goes for the easy route. It's hard to understand how someone like her keeps finding new men. Charles, on the other hand, is kind and compassionate, always rescuing stray cats. During the cat breeding season, he even brought home several strays. "Why, Charles?" I asked the delighted Mary calmly.
Obviously, he's kind. Plus, he's a lawyer with a $300,000 salary.
"Why $300,000? Who said that?"
I heard it from Charles.
I looked at Charles, who just shrank. I know better than anyone that Charles doesn't have that kind of income. But Mary insists on the $300,000 figure. "Well, that's impressive." I responded with no emotion.
You never mentioned such an amazing husband. But you can tell, right?
"Yeah." I didn't understand why she was so mistaken, but if that's what she believes, fine. She wouldn't believe the truth anyway. So I just said yeah, with a smirk. But I couldn't understand why she thought suing would be pointless. Why is suing pointless? I'll sue for damages because you're having an affair.
That's where you're wrong. You don't understand. Charles is a top-notch lawyer. Even if you ask for damages, Charles will brush it off. He's that good.
Is that so? I looked at Charles. If he was such a great lawyer, I should have been able to feel more secure.
Of course, even as his wife, how could you doubt him? It's sad you didn't know. Charles must be feeling sorry for himself.
Stop with the pitiful voice. It's disgusting.
You don't understand Charles. That's why he's with me.
Is that so? Was it like that, Charles?
I'm sorry. Really sorry.
No need to apologize. It's Brenda's fault.
I was just playing around.
That's what he's saying.
Playing around can turn serious, you know?
Mary's comments were bold.
I'm just going along with things. I really want Brenda.
That's what he's saying.
He's just saying that because you're scared of him.
Mary's steel-like nerves meant nothing I said would matter.
The baby isn't born yet, so you don't need child support, right? It's better to divorce quickly. If you ask for child support after the birth, it'll be a pain.
Charles kept apologizing while Mary was strong. I didn't think these two would last, but I had no desire to reclaim what was stolen. After all, if I reclaimed it and tried again, the same thing might happen. Living with such anxiety would impact my work. Understood. So, divorce it is. I signed the divorce papers and kicked them out. Later, Charles moved in with Mary and continued working as a local attorney. Mary, who knows lawyers, thought small local law firms and big ones were the same, so she wouldn't see through Charles's lies. Since Mary worked at a pet shop, she probably thought Charles's salary was high, so she might be happy. If she's happy, I have no regrets about a cheating husband. Or so I thought. The next day, I received a call from Mary, sounding triumphant.
How does it feel to be dumped by your husband?
I don't think I've been dumped. Again, I turned on my phone to record the call. Unknowingly, Mary revealed evidence of her affair.
I'll tell you how long we've been together.
She seemed desperate to talk, either to show off or to boast. Is it okay to do that?
It's fine. You're divorced. Even if you hire a lawyer, Charles will win. He's that good. I'll show you how stupid you are.
I'm such an idiot, huh?
When Charles came to ask for marriage, he was seeing me the very next day.
Really?
We started dating as soon as you got back from your honeymoon. Apparently, once you were married and you were officially his, he suddenly lost interest.
Did he say that?
Exactly. Doesn't it seem like the spark faded way too quickly? Love that cools off right after the wedding. Who does that? Even so, he really wanted to get married, so he tried to stick it out for a while.
Did he say that?
Yes.
It seemed impossible. I could understand that Mary might have been tempted and ended up with Charles. But if an affair started right after marriage, it seemed too far-fetched for a newlywed relationship to fade so quickly. If that's the case, wouldn't it be better to choose divorce instead of dragging out the marriage?
Looks like I was the better choice. You don't really have an impressive job, but you had overtime and business trips, right? Basically, he was lonely.
I was at my limit. Not only was I angry about their relationship starting right after marriage, but the fact that Mary didn't feel any remorse about stealing my husband was unbearable. It was like a nightmare to think of such a person as my sister. And if what Mary said was true, why did he even have a child? He shouldn't have had one. What was Charles thinking?
You're going to have a hard time too, but hang in there.
Why would it be hard?
Well, you're just a paralegal, right? Your salary isn't high, so you won't be able to live like you used to. So, it'll be tough.
Oh, I see.
And you'll never find another husband with a $300,000 salary. It's a shame, but if you hang in there and don't give up, maybe luck will come your way. Although, it's unlikely.
Mary was saying whatever she wanted. She laughed mockingly and detailed how Charles was belittling me. I never imagined that a man who was so weak and only had kindness as his merit would make such bold statements in front of Mary.
Right now, I'm too busy to go on a honeymoon. But once I have free time, I'm thinking of traveling around the world with him.
Mary said that and hung up. But when she hung up, I was determined to take action. A week later, I went to their apartment, which they called their love nest, to declare war. However, Mary was out, and Charles was home alone.
Mary is out right now.
Charles seemed nervous, but that was irrelevant. Right? Whether she's here or not, it seems better to talk to a distinguished lawyer.
Well, I'm just a lawyer, not distinguished.
I knew that well enough. But Mary thinks you're a distinguished lawyer.
Yes, that's right.
Aren't you going to mention that you're a local attorney?
I know I should say it, and I'm planning to, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Are you planning to stay silent?
I'll have to say it eventually, but she thinks I'm a top-notch lawyer.
I don't think she'll find out right away. She probably won't be calculating salaries, but if she does find out, she'll be furious.
Yeah, I better make sure I hit that $300,000 mark before she finds out.
You think it's that easy to achieve? Do you know how hard it is to earn that much?
Well, if I put my mind to it, I can do it.
Do you know the typical salary for a local attorney?
$100,000, right.
Yes, and if you can't even make that, how do you expect to make $300,000? Do you know how many cases you need to handle at that firm? And frankly, there aren't that many cases coming in.
I get that, but I have to try.
Do you know Jones Law Firm?
Yeah, it's a large firm specializing in corporate cases.
That's right. Do you know how many cases you need to handle to earn that kind of income? It involves overtime, business trips, and working long hours. It's a grueling daily routine. Without doing all that, it's tough to make $300,000. So, earning $300,000 as a local attorney is just a pipe dream, right?
Exactly. Comparing it to a place like that is absurd.
Oh, why is that?
Because it's impossible for someone like me to work there.
Really? There are lawyers who manage to work there. That's why the firm exists.
That's true, but it's only for exceptionally skilled lawyers. Comparing myself to them is laughable. Please compare myself to something more realistic. Also, you need to have a very strong mental fortitude to handle it. A friend of mine worked there and couldn't last a year before he burned out. He ended up going back to being a local attorney. Only a monster can survive there.
That's quite a harsh way to put it.
It's just not something ordinary people can handle. Corporate cases are mentally taxing, and you wouldn't understand as a paralegal.
I see. Well, with that attitude, making $300,000 is impossible. But anyway, I'll be hiring a lawyer from that firm.
Ha! Were you not listening? They only take on corporate cases, and their fees are extremely high, amounts ordinary people can't afford. Jones Law Firm won't even handle small personal cases.
But they have a reputation for completing every case they take on. They boast a 100% success rate.
That's true, but they don't handle personal divorce cases.
Is that so? At that firm, this kind of case would be a piece of cake. Plus, if the usual alimony is $30,000, they'd probably charge 10 times that.
A personal lawsuit is out of the question. It's just not possible.
Doesn't that show how skilled they are? I'm looking forward to it.
You've been cheated on and divorced. I understand you're angry, but it's better to avoid this. They won't take your case. If you're going to hire someone, go for a local attorney.
Don't worry, I know a lawyer from that firm.
From that firm, Jones Law Firm.
Yes,
Who is it?
me, myself.
Don't lie. You're a paralegal. I didn't ask which firm you're from, but no busy lawyer would take on a paralegal's request.
Charles seemed to think he understood, but I just smiled and didn't say anything. Seeing my confident smile, he seemed to doubt his previous assumptions and started to realize that what I was saying might be true. When he looked up Jones Law Firm on his phone, there was a list of lawyers, and I was at the top.
Wait, why is your picture here?
Because I'm the top lawyer at that firm.
No way.
After comparing the photos with me several times, he eventually had no choice but to believe it.
So it was true?
Yes,
Why didn't you say anything before?
I thought it would be better for your pride if I kept it as just a paralegal.
So all the talk about overtime and business trips.
Handling cases there is tough. There's a lot of research and work that requires staying overnight. Of course, I have a few paralegals working for me, but one or two isn't nearly enough.
There are two?
Yes, the more cases you handle, the more help you need.
Why didn't you say you were a lawyer at the mixer?
Women are often seen as less competent compared to men.
Oh, I see.
Plus, if I mentioned working at Jones, it would have definitely put you off. Yourself said only a monster could work there, and if I mentioned my salary, no one would want to deal with me. Even if you started dating, you'd probably lose interest once you knew about the salary. It's just how it is.
So that's why.
Some people feel inadequate dating a woman more successful than them, so I decided not to disclose my profession. It's just less hassle that way.
Well, that makes sense.
Even now, you're shocked hearing this. That's just how it goes. So, I played it safe by saying I was a paralegal.
So, women who earn more than men are disliked.
That's right. You have pride as a lawyer, don't you? I liked that you were a local attorney working hard on local cases, but if you knew I was the top lawyer at Jones, you'd probably have lost motivation.
So that's why you said your salary was $30,000.
Yes, a reasonable salary.
Yup, that sounds about right. For a typical office worker.
Charles, visibly deflated, made that comment, clearly feeling the sting of his former wife being at a top law firm. Just then, my sister came home, humming a tune, apparently enjoying her newlywed life.
Oh, why is Brenda here? Did you come to take back my Charles? But that's impossible. Charles is head over heels for me.
Don't worry, that's not what I'm here for. Well then, Charles, just so you know, I'll be filing the lawsuit in a week. You two will be paying a hefty price, so get ready. Charles seemed like he wanted to stop me, but with my sister there, he could only watch as I left.
Charles, what were you talking about?
My sister's voice came through, but Charles didn't respond. A week later, just as I had said, I went to the court to file the lawsuit. Suddenly, Charles and Mary appeared, sweating and running towards me.
Wait, don't file the lawsuit.
Why is Brenda here? Did she do something wrong and is now facing a lawsuit?
What is this woman talking about?
Brenda, please don't file the lawsuit.
What's a lawsuit?
It's the initial document needed to start a court case. Once it's filed, the lawsuit begins.
Really? Why is Brenda the one filing it?
Because I'm a lawyer. I pointed to the lawyer badge on my suit collar.
Wait, you're a lawyer?
Yes, I am.
I've never heard that before.
My sister and I aren't close. The free-spirited sister left home right after high school. She would sometimes come back, but she'd make fun of me for studying all the time and then leave. Her belief was that life is short, so live how you want, and she thought it's better to have fun than to study. With that mindset, we never got along, and my sister, who had become estranged from our parents, didn't know I had become a lawyer. When she first got married, she visited our parents to say hello, but after her divorce, she stopped coming altogether. So, she had never seen me with my lawyer badge. So when I said I was getting married, she came back just to see my husband. There, she met my lawyer husband and continued to meet him in secret, unknown to me. She stole him away, thinking that a lawyer must be a high earner.
Really, you're a lawyer, but you're probably just an incompetent one with a low salary.
No, that's not true. Brenda is an incredibly skilled liar, way beyond anything I could handle.
Is that so?
Yes, she's the top lawyer at Jones Law Firm. With Brenda handling the case, there's no lawsuit she can't win.
No way. She's that amazing a lawyer. I had no idea. Why didn't you tell me?
I would have told you, but you weren't around.
Well, that's true. So, what are you doing here?
She's here to file the lawsuit.
It's not related to us, right?
Actually, it is. She's demanding damages from us too. So if we don't apologize before she files, we'll be facing a huge claim.
She can only claim it. She won't get anything. Why are you so panicked? Besides, with you around, Charles, a lawsuit won't be a problem.
I can't win against Brenda. She's that great of a liar.
Really?
That's why I'm worried.
How much are you planning to claim?
I'm asking for $100,000 from each of you.
Why so much?
A typical amount might be $30,000, but I'm the top lawyer at Jones Law Firm. I've been cheated on, emotionally hurt, and my work has been affected. The damages are immense. Therefore, I'm claiming $100,000 each.
That's ridiculous.
Jones Law Firm does whatever it takes to win, even if it seems outrageous. They will do anything to win. So it's better to settle for $30,000 now.
Really? Then we should just settle for $30,000. It's not a big deal. Charles makes $300,000 a year, so it's nothing for us. Even combined, $60,000 between the two of us is no big deal.
I didn't know you were so clueless.
What's that?
Charles is a local attorney.
What do you mean, local attorney? Is that a type of lawyer?
It's a term for a lawyer from a local firm.
A lawyer's office, you say? So he's a lawyer. That means it's $300,000 income, right?
Charles's annual income is about $50,000.
What? How can that be so low? It shouldn't be that low for a lawyer.
Actually, it is. He's known for being weak and losing cases, so he only gets to do paralegal work.
No way. So having a lawyer badge is meaningless.
Pretty much, yes.
So, what's with the $300,000 income? You did say it was $300,000, right?
That's his dream income. He used to talk about that when we were married.
So you married him knowing he had such a low income?
Well, since I had an income of $300,000, it wasn't a problem.
Is that so?
I didn't tell him the truth, so we never had any financial trouble. We were both too busy with work to care.
That watch you're wearing, it's real?
Of course, everything I have is real.
What? I was planning on having Charles buy me a lot of things. Now I guess that's impossible.
Not a chance. A wealthy lifestyle isn't going to happen.
You've got to be kidding me. I didn't expect you to be like that.
Sorry to disappoint you. Even though you stole someone else's husband, he makes $50,000, not $300,000. But it's more than a low-income job at a regular company, so you can think of it that way.
This is outrageous. What are you going to do about it, Charles?
Mary, you said that love is what matters. Doesn't that mean money isn't important?
Are you kidding? Money is what matters. When the money is gone, love disappears too.
Oh dear. So can I go ahead and file the lawsuit?
Of course not. Who can afford $100,000 each? There's no way you can pay $200,000.
So, what will you do?
We'll pay the $30,000 instead.
Okay, but you'll need to pay it all at once. No installments, since I'm already offering a discount.
Who does this woman think she is? Acting so smug. It's infuriating.
A week later, $60,000 was deposited. It seemed like everything was settled, but then, 3 months later, Charles showed up. Hello, Charles. What's wrong?
Please, let me in.
I let Charles, who looked completely worn out, inside. When I asked what had happened, he began to speak slowly.
Mary disappeared, and now the $60,000 debt has fallen entirely on me.
What do you mean?
Since then, I've been called a liar almost every day.
Well, I guess it does make you a liar.
I was just talking about my dreams.
You said it in a way that made it sound real, didn't you?
Yeah, I suppose. Now she say that if she hadn't had the affair, she wouldn't be in this debt. She's making a huge fuss about it. She thought she'd be able to buy whatever she wanted, but instead, she's in the red.
That's right.
Every day, I've been told she drew the short straw. I'm almost losing my mind. I'm working hard with overtime and staying late, but when I get home, I get yelled at. It's unbearable.
So, what do you want me to do about it?
I didn't intend to lie. I was told being a lawyer was great, and every time I met her, I was told that, so I fart. Well, I am a liar.
Sure, you're a lawyer.
I ended up playing the role of a competent lawyer just because Mary praised me.
So, what do you expect me to do with this?
No matter how busy the work was, I felt motivated when I was encouraged.
How long do I have to listen to this whining?
I thought everything would work out, and I believed she'd understand if I told the truth.
No, she's not going to understand.
That's right. At the courthouse, Mary went ballistic after we got home and said it was all my fault. She even said that it was Mary who came onto me just because I'm a liar. Then she started calling me a liar.
Ah, I see.
So she left the divorce papers and walked out. And then the lawsuit arrived at the house.
A lawsuit? Why?
For damages, and it's for $100,000.
Why? That's unbelievable. No lawyer would take on such a case.
Well, it's from another local attorney like me.
But she shouldn't have money to hire a lawyer.
Apparently, she has a new boyfriend.
Wow, Mary already found someone new. And he's a lawyer?
I don't feel like I can win this.
Well, you have to do your best. There's no way such an outrageous claim will be accepted.
I know, but I found out that the opposing lawyer is quite skilled.
Then you'll just have to do your best. After that, Charles went to court but ended up losing. Although the amount was reduced, he was still ordered to pay $70,000 in damages. The amount of damage added up quickly, with $70,000 on top of the $60,000 he owed me, putting a $130,000 burden on his shoulders. He asked me to lend him money, but I refused, stating that there was no need to lend money to an ex-husband. Even though he's a low-paid lawyer with an annual income of $50,000, he should be able to pay it back. I can only wish him luck. In the end, despite his complaints that no one would help him, he worked desperately. His life was reportedly quite tough. To increase his income, he took on a night job in addition to his lawyer work and cut back significantly on his living expenses. He even ended up moving to a much cheaper place next to a cemetery. I thought it was strange for someone who is afraid of such things to move there, but since he was determined to make it work, I kept quiet. As expected, now Charles hears noises at night and sees things that shouldn't be visible. He contacts me whenever he has time, constantly complaining. It seems he's quite mentally unstable, so I recently referred him to a good psychiatrist. What happens next is anyone's guess. As for me, I moved out of the place I shared with Charles and went back to my parents' house. Thanks to the stable living situation, I was able to safely give birth. Now I'm enjoying the happiest days, juggling work and childcare.